Hi, it's Kristen. Welcome back for another DIY video. I'm excited to share with you how easy it is to make DIY beeswax wraps at home. So you've probably heard of beeswax wraps before. Basically what they are a more eco-friendly alternative to cling wrap and one-use plastics. So basically all it is a piece of cotton fabric that you coat in a layer of melted beeswax, and then that makes the fabric kind of moldable, so where you're able to kind of wrap it around like cheese or vegetables and things in your fridge, or even put them over the top of bowls, and kind of using the warmth in your hand, it kind of melts it just enough to be able to form around the bowl. But the really neat thing about them is that they're reusable over and over again, and they can last like 6, 8, 12 months even without needing to be kind of the wax reapplied to it. So it's a really handy thing to keep in your kitchen. It's very easy to make and definitely a more eco-friendly way to wrap your vegetables, your cheeses, things like that. You only need a few items to make these beeswax wraps at home. Of course, I'll have everything linked down in the description below, and I'm going to walk you through step by step how to make them. So let's get right into it. If you're new here, I would love it if you would click the subscribe button down below and stick around for more videos. I upload at least 2 new videos every single week. So you can make this any size you would like. I have been liking my 10-inch size one, also 13-inch, nice and large, and then also smaller ones like 8-inch or 6-inch. So today I'm gonna make a 6.5-inch one, which would be good for, you know, just smaller things in the fridge. Let's get this cut out. Because these will be touching your food, you do want to make sure that you wash the fabric before you do this, because once the beeswax is on, you won't be able to wash it in a washing machine. So go ahead and get it nice and clean before you begin. And the next thing you're going to need is beeswax. So I got these yellow beeswax bars from Amazon. I'll put a link to them down below. When I was learning how to do this a while back, I had read they also make them in these little pellets, and I had read that they don't melt as evenly and it's a little bit harder to work with, so that it's better to go ahead and just grate it up yourself. So I have just a kitchen cheese grater here, and so I'm going to go ahead, I already kind of started, but I'm going to go ahead and finish grating a bit more of this beeswax. So I think I have a pretty good amount for my smaller beeswax wrap here that I'm going to be working with today. And I can always grate up more if I need to. Beeswax is notoriously difficult to get out of any sort of fabric, so you want to make sure that you put something down that you don't care about. So this is just like an old beach towel, so I'm going to try not to get anything on it, but if I do, I know at least won't get into my ironing board. All right, so we have our towel down that we don't care about, and then we have our fabric pretty print side up, and we're gonna go ahead and just place our beeswax in a nice even layer across the fabric. After the beeswax is melted, we are going to be using pinking shears, which are those zigzag scissors, to go ahead and finish off the edges instead of needing to sew or anything like that. So you want your beeswax to get close to the edge, but it doesn't need to be all the way to the very edge, because we are going to be trimming off a bit of it. All right, so I think I have a pretty good even layer. So we're going to use a piece of parchment paper over the top of this to protect our iron from getting any beeswax on it. I'm gonna try to make sure I don't have any on my towel too. And I have my iron on a nice like medium heat, just like a cotton setting is good. And then we're just gonna gently place our iron, and slowly, if you can see, it's kind of starting to melt around as we go over it. And it kind of spreads out, and it's really neat because it changes the color of the fabric, so you'll be able to tell where you have missed any spots and if you need to add a little bit more beeswax. It's melting really, really nicely. I just have one little spot over here in this corner. looking really good. All right, it looks, oh yeah, looks great. Okay, there's one little spot over here that's lighter, so I'm gonna add just a little bit more beeswax and then do the exact same thing with the parchment paper and just heat it up again and let it melt. All right, that is perfect. Okay. So as you can see, it changed the color of the fabric. It's just like a darker color. It almost looks oily or something, like there's oil on it. It's a little bit stiff, but it's still warm. So I'm gonna set this aside and let it fully cool off, and then we're gonna go in with the pinking shears and finish it up. All right, so the beeswax wrap is nice and cooled off, and it's definitely gotten quite stiff as it has cooled. So let's go ahead and use our pinking shears to finish off the edges. When you're measuring out what size wrap you want to make, just keep in mind that you are going to be shearing off a bit of the edge. So if you're looking for something that's going to be exactly 13 inches, then maybe go up a little bit, like 13.25 or 13.5, just to make sure that your end result is exactly the size that you wanted. And that's all there is to it. Now you have a nice little wrap. This would be for something quite small, maybe a small block of cheese or something. All you need to do is just wash it in kind of cool to warm water. You don't want anything hot. And you can just use a sponge to wash it and then set it out to dry and then reuse it over and over again. I'll give a little example. I have a little beeswax bar here. So I'm gonna show you kind of how I would wrap up cheese, or leftover bread or something like that, and then it just kind of molds around. It doesn't stick. It's not quite like the cling film that will really stick to itself, but it really does hold its shape quite nicely, and I've been really pleased with them so far. If you're new here, I would love it if you would click the subscribe button down below and stick around. Thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope it was helpful to you, and I hope that you will try to make your own beeswax wraps. It's so simple to do, and anytime we can cut down on the use of one-use plastics and things like that, I think it's a good thing. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.